What an introduction. Thank you, Charlton. Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful ceremony. I feel confident we would all like to thank Tamsin and Pierre for organising such a fantastic venue. All the organisations, well done, guys. We are a really eclectic group of people. We have one thing in common, and that is we really love Tamsin and Pierre, and we're so honoured to be here celebrating the day with you. I think it's important to realise that we all did have a choice, not to come or to come, but we have come, and thank you so much, both of you. It's just been fantastic. I think too that as a dad, Tamsin was of course my first child, and that's kind of a real experience for those of us who've been down that route. You learn an awful lot. She's very inquisitive, very I would say inquiring, and certainly kept me on my toes as I went down that journey. But thank you, I always learned a lot from you. A couple of simple things. She and I made a trip, which was a long time ago when she was 5 or 6, and we went around the world together, just the two of us, obviously seeing families and friends in UK, but also to the States. And I guess the thing that always struck in my mind was that Tamsin was never ever perturbed. She was always interested in what we actually were doing, the people we met, and she did actually give me a tremendous fright, because those of you who do know me, that I have been known to lose or misplace, I think I prefer to say, the odd thing from time to time. Usually wallets that someone kindly finds for me. But one day in England, it was in a shopping centre, and Tamsin and I were walking around through the shopping centre, as one does, and I got engaged in a window for just a few seconds and looked down, and there was no 5 or 6 year old. And you can imagine the panic that set in my mind that I had lost. I would have to, of course, to report back to her mother if I had lost her, but joking apart. Anyway, just a moment or two later, I found her engrossed looking into a pet shop window. And when I came up to her, she just smiled at me and said, she wasn't the slightest bit worried. She said, "Don't worry, I would have found you." So I thought that was the story. Excuse me while I look at my notes. From Pony Club days, Tamsin's always been very interested in horses, and I certainly never believed that a connection with those large animals would lead her on her massive travels around the world, where she's met all sorts of people. It was somewhat amusing to find that, in fact, the Roux family also have a bit of a horse connection back in their history, so I thought that was quite ironic. Excuse me. I guess with Tamsin, she's never balked at a challenge. She has wonderful infectious laughter, coupled with her intellect, and certainly never leaves a dull moment. Those of her who know her well will think that she certainly never hesitates in expressing an opinion, usually very fairly, very honestly, and very openly, and certainly with passion at times. And I think one thing I certainly always think about is I've never had a discussion with my firstborn child and not come away actually feeling I've actually learned something. It's always been a very vibrant discussion, and I know that some of us can sometimes feel a little overwhelmed, but that's probably rather good for us. Look, born in the UK and brought up in Australia, Tamsin has, of course, blazed a trail as the firstborn. She's been on many adventures, taken her to many, many places around the world in studies, work, volunteering, and of course, time off. So in this context, I guess, as we all know, the two of them met on a plane. They now live in Rotterdam, and they're about to move to the UK. It seems rather consistent with that journey of adventure. I wonder where to after that. You make your decisions so effectively together, I know it will be carefully explored and thought through, considering each other's aspirations and needs in an open and honest way. And of course, will, as always, have some element of surprise and excitement for all of us on the outside. Never stop doing that. You always surprise us. So now, perhaps I should move from my firstborn to my first son-in-law, who, by coincidence of my own travels and some luck, I first met a matter of days after they decided to marry. And I think it's fair to say, Pierre, that there was certainly a bit of trepidation on both our counts as to my arrival in Rotterdam. It was gone for me within an instant with your engaging personality. And as we had time to talk in amongst your work and MBA studies, I was privileged to appreciate your integrity, your openness, and your sense of humour. Above all, it was so heartwarming to see how you and Tamsin interact with each other with mutual care and thoughtfulness in running your individual parts and the together parts of your very interesting lives. It brought enormous joy to me to appreciate that Tamsin had clearly found a partner whose own extraordinary talents and personality worked so well with hers. I've had the opportunity to spend some time with them both over the last few weeks, and I guess I've seen them deal with some amazing problems that we here are all benefiting from. Some last-minute, not tragedies, but little difficult situations they've handled very competently. Unfortunately, I can concede that I was the cause of one of those just recently, and in their imitable style, we sorted it out. Apart from, and this isn't in family joke, apart from almost giving a totally unknown person a very early Christmas present this Thursday, we managed to do this very well. Pierre knows exactly what I'm talking about. Chris and Sandy, it has been a real pleasure to meet you and appreciate where this wonderful guy has come from. So here we are, guys, where all those arrangements you both have done have been fulfilled. And Tamsin and Pierre, you can now set off on your married life, knowing we all here wish you everything that is in your hearts, knowing that you are both so well equipped together to relish all the great things in life and work through those less great things life throws us all from time to time. Now, with her siblings and her mother Prue, I ask everyone to wish you both the very best from the bottom of all our hearts on your journey ahead together. So let us all drink the first of many toasts to Tamsin and Pierre. Tamsin and Pierre.
Your daughter-in-law. The son-in-law. Cheers.
Absolutely. My new son-in-law. Cheers.
Very well. I'm here.